Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As the scrolls have foretold, the massive update has finally arrived, and I'll be honest, massive is not the scale that I would personally set this to. That is just the word that developers described it as in the past, and I'm not in agreement. So was it good or did it flop? Well, we will find out in a moment. Just let me give you a brief preamble to set up what will be in the video. It won't take more than a minute. First thing we are running through is the plainly stated changes to the game and how they feel. This will be numbers getting shifted around, new mechanics, things like that. And then I will talk about the new mission. No spoilers story-wise, just some general comments and then the obvious gameplay that's going to be in the video. Then I will end on the new Dark Angels content and some other little things that were added in. Sound good? Well, if it doesn't, too bad, because we're doing it anyway. Once again, the melee combat system has undergone a few changes. You are beginning to hit more like a space marine now, and less like a small child who has been treating Sudafed tablets like gummy bears. Damage numbers for melee output have been increased across the board, and blocking weapons have also received an update. When you block enemy attacks, you now receive Adrenaline Surge stacks. It's basically a massive damage buff stacking up to 3 times. They get expended on whatever your melee attacks make contact with. Striking with 3 stacks will cause a localized explosion around you, restoring an armor segment and staggering all nearby enemies. The idea behind this is to make weapons that are a motherfucker in terms of damage output, but just okay in terms of defensive capability. Pretty much all block weapons got a large damage increase, balanced weapons got a fair damage and parry stagger area increase, and fencing weapons got a parry stagger area decrease. All in all, they still feel good. The case remains to be, if you suck in fistfights, you probably still will, but there are more options for those who are capable. There's not a ton of updates in terms of ranged weaponry, but the Volkite pistol is now better at killing all standard Majoris and Zoanthropes. The Bolt Carbine also got itself a small tweak, receiving an extra magazine. I'll be honest, bolt weapons still feel like a pile of fuck for the most part, however, I don't really expect that to change at this point. You don't love to see it, but it's not going to break your heart either. Here's the rest of the gameplay quality tweaks. Dodges should be more responsive with higher ping. Players are invulnerable to new instances of damage on knockback animations, so hopefully less stun locking to death. Players are briefly invulnerable at the start of jump pack launches. Dodge and parry sounds have been given more clarity. Heavy's barrier can be activated while staggered. Vanguard's grapnel launcher has been made more responsive. PvP now has the Volkite pistol and spawn protection. Shield Zoanthropes attack less frequently, and you now receive bonus experience for killing shit in missions. Because I don't want to spoil anything for you, I'll simply say I enjoyed the new mission even with the new flying piss goblins. The little fuckers are like trying to fight a Beyblade. I'm playing Bulwark here just so I can show off the new armor, but I would suggest bringing a sniper. It introduces some new mechanics, such as fighting dust and poking eyeballs, or at the least fending off dust with the Holy Grail. The direction they're currently going with in terms of interactive mission objectives works well, and I have no idea what it does when you sit in the dust too long. I was afraid to get randomly nuked, so I just never touched it. Chaos desperately needed more variability, and it seems to be one step closer to being provided. By the way, would you believe that this is unruthless? It feels strange for it to be this easy, and don't you comment on the mediocre gameplay. I've barely played in the, entire last month after having completed everything, so I'm a little rusty. On to the Dark Angels DLC. Is the Dark Angels content cool? I think yes. Will I be wearing it on anything other than my Bulwark? I think probably not. It's cool, but I'm not a Dark Angels guy to begin with. And look, I'll be honest, I was expecting a bit more. I think we could have reached a wider variety of cosmetics than a hood, shoulder pad, chest plate, and a fucking Bionicle helmet. I don't want to bitch too much because I have no intention of demeaning somebody's hard work, and I have no idea what it's like to design and code these things or play by the Games Workshop rulebook. It's just been a couple months since the last significant drop, and I'm left wanting a little bit more, especially seeing the array of things accessible to the Space Marine catalog. At least lens colors are finally here, and Balthazar Gold no longer looks like goddamn mustard. And that's about a wrap for today's big patch notes. Now, closing statements. I don't think this update reinvented the wheel by any means, but it did breathe life into a new game again, albeit kind of underwhelmingly. It already feels good to play, but the primary thing that Space Marine 2 remains to be lacking in is variability. They make fun maps with a good story behind them, but you can only repeat the same tasks so many times before it becomes a chore. If the Horde mode that they have staged to release does not provide that, it may very well begin the stages of withering this product away. There's no other way to say it, the lifespan for content here is not that long. Here's where I see this game direction going in. You will eventually complete all there is to do. You will return periodically whenever updates drop to clear the new stuff, and then you'll go back to doing whatever else it was you were doing. I'm not being a doomer here. I'm not saying this is a bad, terrible game. I'm just trying to set reasonable expectations for the future. In any case, tell me how you felt about it. Maybe I'm being overdramatic. I've certainly got a flair for it. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I will be seeing you relatively soon for the Dark Angels Drunk History segment. Have a good one.